Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. I am Nabila, your science teacher. I welcome you all in today's class. Today we are going to study about melting and freezing. This is the last topic of your lesson, solids and liquids. It is the last part of that lesson. First, we are going to know that what is melting. To melt means to change a substance from a solid to a liquid state by heating it to the melting point. Different substances melt at different temperatures. Water melts at 0 degrees Celsius or 32 Fahrenheit. It means that when a solid changes into a liquid by heating, then this process is known as melting. And different things have different melting point on which they melt. And what is freezing? To freeze means to change a substance from a liquid to a solid state by cooling it to the freezing point. When we put a liquid into in such temperature that liquid becomes solid, then this process is known as freezing. You can take the example of water. When we put the water in the refrigerator, after some time the water becomes ice, and ice is the solid form of water. Now, before going forward, we should know that what is melting point and what is freezing point. Melting point means that it is the temperature at which a solid becomes a liquid. Means for every solid, there is a specific temperature on which that solid becomes liquid. So that temperature on which a solid becomes a liquid is known as melting point of that solid. For example, if we put ice, uh, if you put ice outside the refrigerator, then it start melting. Or if you heat up the ice, after few seconds that ice start melting due to the heat. So the point comes at which that solid start melting, and that point is known as its melting point. Then there are some things that have very low melting points. Low melting point means that they need a very small amount of heat to melt. They start melting very soon. Butter is a solid, but it start melting very soon if you put the butter outside the uh, refrigerator, then it start melting. Then is ice cream. You all know very well about ice cream. If you put ice cream outside the freezer, then it start melting. And same is the case with chocolate and candle wax. Candle wax also start very soon to melt. When you light a candle, the heat of the flame melts the wax. Okay, the heat of the flame of the candle melts the wax. You can see in this picture the wax is melting, and it is again freezing after some times. In this picture you can see that the wax is freezing also. but we will discuss it in next slides. Now, what is freezing point? Freezing point is actually the temperature at which a liquid becomes a solid. Means for a liquid, there is a specific temperature on which that liquid become a solid. You can take the example of water, that when we put the water in the refrigerator, it becomes solid after some time. So that point at which water becomes solid is actually its freezing point. Now you observe that water become solid, and again if you heat that solid ice, it again become the water. It again melts and it become the water. So we can say that this is reversible change. Actually, reversible change is a change that can be undone. Means final substance can be converted back to the original substance. Like in this slide, if you put water in the freezer, or you give water a temperature at which it becomes ice, okay, and we call this process as freezing. And when you heat up the ice, then this ice again start melting, and again it becomes the water, and this process is known as melting. It means that when we put some water in the freezer or for refrigerator, it will turn into ice. If we then warm ice, it melts and changes back into the liquid. So this shows that both freezing and melting are reversible process, that you can change the liquid into solid, and with the heating, that solids become liquid again. Now there is an activity for you. You can do this activity at your home, but with the supervision of your parents. Okay, take a chocolate bar, and what happens to chocolate when we heat it? Okay, this is actually the thing that we are going to observe. Is the chocolate chip a solid or liquid? Definitely it's a solid. Okay, what you have to do, you have to place one chip on your spoon and hold it over the candle for about 45 seconds. Then after that, you use toothpicks to poke it. Poke means to dig it. Means with toothpicks, you will check that whether it start melting or not. Okay, what happens to chocolate when we heat it? Is the chocolate chip a solid or liquid after heating? Yes, you will observe that it's turning into a liquid. It start melting. Okay, when you touch that chocolate on your spoon with the help of your toothpicks, then you will feel that this chocolate becomes very soft and it start melting, and it is turning into a liquid. And did it boil or change into a gas? No. Okay, then chocolate just change into a liquid, and if you put that liquid chocolate in the freezer again, then after some time it again becomes solid. And through this activity you can observe that solid become liquid and liquids become solid. Okay, up till now we have studied that solids turn into liquids, and this process is known as melting, and liquids turn into solid, and this process is known as freezing. Now, dear students, it's time for your homework. Your homework is that you have to do the reading of topic melting from page number 17. And the second task is that do the activity sheet given in the presentation. Here is an activity sheet for you. You have to do that activity sheet orally, not on your notebook. Okay? You just have to do this activity sheet orally. आपने इसे notebook पर नहीं करना. Okay जी, thank you so much. It's all about from my side. Take care of yourself and Allah Hafiz.